hearing is closed. Motion before you is approval. Discussion.
Mr. Mayor,
Lady from the floor.
thank you so much. Yeah, I have a few thoughts and a few comments here I'd like to make. First, through the chair to the city administrator. Yeah.
Mr. Morrissey.
Yes.
Okay. Can you just tell me, did we consult any other cities who've been through similar incidents of horrible circumstances like this?
I personally have not. I know that the chief and those that are in the planning have spoke to several different cities that were involved in this.
All right. Through the, because I would have thought that would have been something we really pounded on, was talking to other cities who had some success with horrible circumstances. Through the chair, please, to the city.
The lady from the fourth, if I may, I have had conversations. Yes, the mayor. I have had conversations with other cities.
Okay. All right. I'll address that in a second. Through the chair, please, to the city attorney.
Yes. Both Ed Antrim, city attorney, and Brian Charbosian, assistant city attorney, are on the phone.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Wondering about the designated protest area. Are we infringing?
There isn't anything in there in the resolution about a designated protest area.
Oh, but it's been put out there in the press releases. We've all gotten so much questioning about it. And I'm not an attorney, so I'm sorry, I have to rely on you. It looks like something that's planned. I mean, it's been put out there. It's been lit in the world. So if we were to do something like that, wouldn't we be infringing on people's constitutional rights?
Well, first comment is no one's discussed that with our office. And to my understanding, no one's discussed it with the mayor either. But to now address your question, we would be certainly, if that was raised, we would look at the issue. But the idea is to allow for peaceful protests.
Correct.
And I think that the mayor has indicated he wants to assure that there can be peaceful protests. And certainly, I mean, to go to the extreme, you couldn't go into the White House and have a peaceful protest. So there are areas where you can be prohibited from going. But again, I can't speak to the issue of having some designated area that hasn't been raised to us up to now.
Yeah. Well, just to address your point, I'm looking at a press release January 3rd on City of Kenosha letterhead that starts out that the mayor and the police chief today announced planned precautionary efforts. And one of the items listed there is designation of a demonstration space. And I want to make that we're not infringing on people's rights because...
Lady, if I may, lady from the fourth, it might be better for me to answer that question for you.
Okay.
At no time have we intended that any location would be set for people that people had to go to a certain area to protest. That has not been the intent in any way at all. I believe the chief was looking at some areas that people could be told, here's our good places for you to go, but there is no designation being done to anyone as to where they can and cannot go under this situation. So that is not, if people are interpreting that in that way, that is an incorrect interpretation as to what the intent might have been when the press release went out, because I don't believe it states anywhere specific that you have to go, and this resolution does not do any of that, and nor do I have any intention of doing any of that.
Okay. Well, that's my whole point. You know, it seems that we put out a lot of information, and we were trying to be prepared and trying to calm and trying to work with the activists we have in town, but yet these press releases didn't do that. Didn't do that at all. It worried people. With all the media releases we've had, it appears to the general public as though some of our government already knew. We already know when the announcement is coming. And I find that to be really offensive. Now, Mayor, I'm not pointing fingers. I hope you're
Actually, lady from the 4th, you are correct. We do know when the announcement's going to be made. We do not know what the announcement is. And in the press release that went out, I stated on on December, I believe it was the 29th, that the DA informed me of a specific date that he was going to release the information. I've been under a situation where I'm not allowed to state what that date was, and have kept my word to that aspect so that the city could be prepared. But at the same token, the DA is the one in charge and has control of the release of the information and what the information is. The city has no knowledge, not the chief, not me, not anyone else in the city has any knowledge of what the decision is. So the release did put in there that under this scenario, and that's one of the reasons you have a period of time for this proposal, that the declaration of emergency is set for a specific period of time and then doesn't implement until the DA makes his announcement. So this process in place has been to make sure that we protected the city, but the same token that we did not take anyone's rights. And it is extremely important from the city's perspective that, because we've told people from day one that this was being handled by the state and the DA as to the determinations, and the city has no knowledge of it and still has no knowledge of that.
And I understand that, but it's all about perception. With all these media releases that everyone has seen because they've been put out into the atmosphere, people are assuming that we know. They already know by everything that's transpiring now to prepare that we know what the decision is going to be. And to me, it marginalizes certain segments of our population, mainly the Black community. It appears that we've had undisclosed, overt meetings, and you and I know that's not true. Everyone in our city government knows it's not true, but it's damaged the trust that we have with the people who live here. And, you know, I'm just so sad because I know you put in so much thought into all of this, and I know so much work went into it, but it just didn't, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work. And, you know, and I'm sad about that. I'm really sad because we're on the cusp here of, you know, something huge. And I guess that's all I have to say about this. But I also want to say we need to get back to citizen comments. I don't care how it happens. It needs to happen. People need to have a voice in our local government. Thank you.